I eat far more food than most women I know, and I am the leanest I have ever been. And I'm going to tell you why. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why eating less is probably the reason why you're staying stuck and what to do instead. And I'm going to go in full freaking detail, okay? This is calorie density 101. It's life hacks, it's weight loss hacks. And once you understand what I'm going to teach you, you have all of the information and more to completely succeed at this without me. Okay. Now, I work with women every single day who are trying to lose weight but get zero results. And almost every single time, it has come down to the one thing that nobody actually has ever taught us in able to lose weight in a way that's comfortable, successful, and what I call successful is sustainable, long term, right? Because 94% of women who lose weight will regain it and more within 3 to 5 years. That is a very large percentage. So my clients are those who are in the 6th percentile of women who do not regain it. And I'm going to share with you the secret method, right? In my program, women are eating more food. And those who are eating more food are the ones who lose more weight. And I am fully aware that this sounds very backwards, but if it sounds appealing to you, this video training was meant for you. It landed on your page somehow. Because I'm going to take you through exactly how my clients are losing weight by eating more food. And by the end of this video, you will never look at weight loss or a diet or your plate the same way. Now, I want to start by sharing a story about one of my clients who she was already vegan. She was already exercising. She was already trying all of the diet. She was trying all of the things. She was constantly hungry. She felt out of control. She felt ashamed. Now, she had health issues, health complications for a very long time. She struggled with her weight for most of her life. She struggled with emotional eating. But, this vegan lifestyle, although it was supposed to be working, just wasn't working for her. And that's because nobody taught her how to eat for fat loss. We can eat vegan, we can eat healthy, but those two do not equate fat loss. And so what I'm teaching you today actually changed everything. So it was the catalyst for her to be able to get out of her own way, start seeing results, start feeling that shift, so then we could work on the other piece. So this was the catalyst for more energy, for us to work on her mindset piece, right? Things like her self-worth and her self-value, because she started to lose weight. Hunger went away, and because she started trusting herself and her hormones came back online, like she started actually feeling satisfied with food, we were able to start then working on the mindset piece. So let's strip it back. You've probably heard of calorie density before, whether you might be sitting here going, I've heard it 100 fucking times, or you might be sat here going, I have no idea what you're talking about. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm just going to strip it back very quickly. So calorie density is the way that we talk about the amount of calories in specific foods. So calorie is an energy, it's a measurement of energy. The way that I like to think of it is what is the energy source that we measure to put into the energy that we put into a light bulb to light the light up, right? So calories are the energy that goes in. Now, like a light bulb, you can overdo that. That bulb can blow. And energies don't necessarily mean the same thing in our body. The more you give it doesn't equal the more energy you have, okay? So the calories that we require in a certain day will vary from person to person, whether you've done one diet or 10 diets, whether you're perimenopausal or you might be 30 years old and you're just going through a relationship change. Wherever you are in your life, depending on the movement, depending on your responsibilities, depending on your stress, depending on your capacity, there are many variables as to why you might have a very different calorie requirement to the next person. However, you will require a set number to run your everyday life, right? So when we are eating less of that energy than we use, that is when our body goes, hang on a minute, you're not giving me enough for my output. So it taps into our body fat, it burns our body fat, and then from there we are able to lose body fat because we're using the fat stores. Okay, so fat is just stored energy. It is stored energy that we have on our body when we have eaten too much. So on that note, when you eat more than what you use, then your body goes, okay, I've got so much energy, I need to store this somewhere. It creates pockets in your body and it puts the fat in there. Okay, so we accumulate fat not because of hormones, not because of menopause, not because of stress. We accumulate fat because we are just eating more than we are using. Now, for some people, it's a lot harder to get that balance right. For some people, it's a lot easier. Those that it's easier for, they're the ones that lose weight the moment they look at a salad, right? We're not talking about those people. I'm talking to you as someone who's probably struggled trying to lose weight before. It is difficult. It is more difficult for different people. It's more difficult if you have limited resources. It's more difficult if you have no idea how to manage your emotions, how to manage your schedule, if your priorities are misaligned to your health. There are many reasons why it is harder for one person and the other, but that is more mental struggle. Okay, at the very crux of it, calories in versus calories out is kind of that is a law of science, right? We know this. It's law of thermodynamics that cannot be argued. However, every calorie is going to serve a different purpose. Not every calorie is created equal. So some calories you are going to get fiber, water, vitamins, essential nutrients, and that will give you energy. That will lift your mood. That will help with your hormonal health. But some will come with inflammatory properties. It will drain your energy. Okay, so high calories doesn't mean high energy. In fact, lower calories often come with better nutrient profile, which then helps you lose more weight. Because think about it, when you're doing good, when you're feeling energized, when your hormones are working, that is when weight loss is easy. When you're not doing good and you feel like crap and you're stuck in a shame cycle and you're binging in front of Netflix on a Friday night, that is not the place that is easy to lose weight, right? So there was also a study showed that two groups consumed the same amount of calories in one day. So they tracked the calories, and one group had more calories at breakfast and less calories at dinner. The other group had less calories at breakfast and more calories at dinner. Both had the same lunchtime. So basically one group had more calories in the starter in the first part of their day. The second group had more calories in the latter part of the day. And guess what? Those who had bigger breakfasts and smaller dinners in terms of calorie content actually were able to burn more energy throughout the day, meaning they used more calories, meaning that they actually lost more weight. So yes, calories in versus calories out help, but you've also got to look at the other side of this, and this is where people are going to get really stuck, is the quality of calories and maybe even the timing of calories is going to impact how much more you move your body, how much more you fidget, how much more energy you expel. So another example of me was yesterday. I felt more energized in the morning, so I was dancing away while I was working on my laptop. I was dancing away. I would have been burning more calories than I am sitting down right now. So while I've had the same amount of breakfast, the energy that I had at the start of the day yesterday would have allowed me to burn more calories in the day. I hope this makes sense. Let me know if this is making sense. So it really isn't just about calories in versus calories out. It is also about what that comes with. So what that comes with is not only fiber and water and nutrients and vitamins and minerals, or inflammatory things like saturated fats and sugar and maybe even excessive amounts of salt, for example, right? They're going to have a very different impact to your energy levels, your mood, and everything else. But they also have something else, and that is called volume or fiber. So some foods have more volume, so they take up more space than other foods. And kind of typically speaking, everything with more volume is lower calories. Let me explain. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Okay, so let's look at this on a spectrum. On the lower end of the food spectrum, we have things like non-starchy vegetables. Now, this is things like celery and lettuce leaves and kale and spinach and cucumbers and tomatoes and mushrooms, right? There is a whole host of foods, and I'm going to share more with you in a minute. And then we have, and that's only sitting at about 100 calories per pound. A pound is a huge amount of food, right? It's a huge amount of food in your belly. So then we have 300 calories for fruit per pound. This is about on average. Starchy vegetables at about 400 calories per pound. Grains about 500 calories per pound. Legumes 600 calories per pound. Things like avocado, this is a healthy fat, right? 726 calories per pound. Bread is 1,100 calories per pound. Dried fruit, 1,600 calories per pound. Nuts and seeds, we're at 2,800 calories per pound. And oils is the most calorie dense food on the planet at 4,000 calories per pound. This is huge. Now, for this much space, you can get 100 calories, or for this much space, you can get 100 calories. So this really is the biggest, it's not secret, it's really not a secret. This is the biggest hack you can have to being in a calorie deficit. In other words, you burning that body fat in a way that is comfortable and you're not starving yourself, okay? So you can have a huge amount of food for very little costing of calories, right? 400 calories of nuts is going to set you back only a tiny small amount, whereas you can have a whole load of lentils or vegetables or sweet potatoes and actually feel the feelings of full, because inside your stomach you have something called the stretch receptors. So your stomach doesn't recognize calories, it recognizes volume. So when you have voluminous foods in your belly, those stretch receptors are triggered. You now feel full. But you can hack that fullness by eating a shit ton of low calorie foods, right? This is how I eat all day and snack all day and stay in a comfortable calorie deficit. I do not feel like garbage when I am on a diet because I follow these principles. So calorie counting as a standalone tool, hang on a minute, let me take my screen off. Okay, so this is why counting calories as a standalone tool is quite a broken method for women who are just trying to lose weight, because there are so many factors as to why just counting calories actually doesn't work for a lot of women. Unless you're going in for a very specific body competition or something like that, counting calories is not a long-term sustainable approach. And there are 3 reasons why I talk about this. 1, it isn't reliable, right? There are too many variables and ways for it to go possibly wrong that your calories could totally be off. And that is going to actually influence the hunger levels, the temptation, the mental battle, the mental grit that you have to sit through, because you could be completely miscounting, and that is unnecessary pain, in my opinion. It is an unsustainable approach because it is very time consuming, and it is most importantly, I think, it takes you away from being able to listen and learn and act from your body. So you are the final authority of what your body actually needs. And quite frankly, we are so freaking far removed from actually trusting our body that the moment we don't have a fitness tracker, or we don't, like, life gets in the way, we just have no idea what we need to be doing because we don't have those things and tools in front of us. So we need to start listening to our bodies and trusting our bodies. And when we trust our bodies, our hormones start working again. We feel fully satisfied when we eat our meals. And we're not continuously blowing the plan, dropping off and going back on the wagon, struggling with a diet, keeping us stuck in this yo-yo diet. So there are three things to consider when it comes to calorie density. And the way that I like to look at it is a traffic light system. Okay, so we have green light foods, which are your low calorie density foods. These are the foods that you want to eat in abundance. These are the foods that I snack on all day. These are the foods that are going to fill you up, that are going to come with the fiber, the water, the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals that you need, the phytochemicals that you need for anti-aging and anti-cancer. These are the compounds that are going to really help, the calories that are going to really help you in your weight loss. So they look like leafy greens, courgettes, tomatoes, broccolis, peppers, berries, lentils, beans, chickpeas, things like oats and potatoes and sweet potatoes and rice and quinoa. These are the foods that we want in abundance. So I want you to think back to that chart, anything in the yellow, okay? Anything in the yellow. And then we have the yellow light foods. So what I mean by yellow light foods are foods that some foods are deemed as healthy, but they're not in large amounts. And the reason why I talk about yellow light foods is because these are the foods that a lot of people get stuck on. We get hung up on these because we're eating them in an abundance, thinking that they're healthy for us. And yes, they might provide nutrients. However, they're not helping us with weight loss. So yellow light foods can look like the nuts, seeds, nut and seed butters, right? Peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, whatever. Oils, avocado oil, coconut oil, they're all the freaking same. It's 100% fat. It is 4,000 calories per gram, per pound. You are having an absolute laugh if you think that having oils in your diet, if you think there's any room to have oil at all when you're trying to lose weight. Like there really isn't. There really isn't. Of course, technically there is, but it makes it 10 times freaking harder. This is how my clients just lose weight so quickly, is because they drop off the high calorie foods while staying satisfied, right? Yellow light foods also include things like dried fruits, okay? So yes, they are and bread. Yes, they can provide nutrients, but they are the tricky ones, and they're the ones that keep us stuck in that weight loss cycle. And then the red light foods. Yes, I eat red light foods, right? But I have them in small quantities, very small quantities. So red light foods are going to be any animal products, highly processed foods like oils, avocado oil, coconut oil. They're all the freaking same. It's 100% fat. It is 4,000 calories per gram, per pound. You are having an absolute laugh if you think there's any room to have oil at all when you're trying to lose weight. Like there really isn't. There really isn't. Of course, technically there is, but it makes it 10 times freaking harder. This is how my clients just lose weight so quickly, is because they drop off the high calorie foods while staying satisfied, right? Baked goods, vegan cheeses, chips, alcohol, right? All of the tasty stuff, but it's killing us and it's keeping us overweight, right? The research is coming out saying that there is no safe limit of alcohol because it is a poison, right? Then think about highly processed foods. They're not poisonous to us, but they are to some degree. They're causing inflammation. They're creating extra cravings, right? They're quite often sending our hormones offline, right? Which basically just means you don't like things that your leptin and your ghrelin, where you don't feel hungry, you don't feel satisfied. Now, it's not about demonizing certain foods. It's about helping you realize that these foods are what is keeping you stuck. Okay, but if it was as easy as saying, okay, I'm going to give up and never go back to those red light foods, you'd have done that. You'd have done that every single Monday that you told yourself that this week will be a different week. This week is my week. This week I'm going to be healthy, right? And this is actually where the other pieces of the puzzle come in for weight loss. This is where we talk about handling cravings and handling social situations and the weekends and the inner rebellion that doesn't want to plan, and how to handle your emotions and your nervous system, right? If that sounds like you, I want you to know that just what's on your plate is, what I'm talking about today isn't the only piece to your puzzle, okay? So most plant-based women are unintentionally heavy on the yellow and the red light foods. Obviously, quite often we know when we've eaten a sleeve of Oreos, we know that that's not going to help us for our weight loss goals, right? But we can get stuck on the yellow light foods as well because we are torn between this. Well, it's healthy, it's deemed as healthy, but it's not actually helping me lose weight, because healthy and weight loss aren't necessarily the same thing. You can have avocado in your diet, but a whole shit ton of avocado is probably not healthy, right? So we want to look at things that we can eat an abundance of for maximum weight loss results. So more voluminous foods and more awareness around the calorie dense foods, the trick foods, means that your calories come down without you restricting, without you feeling like you're freaking starving yourself thin. So where do we get stuck the most? I think, for a lot of us, it's easy to make a healthy balanced breakfast. It's easy to make a healthy balanced lunch or a healthy balanced dinner. We get stuck in the trap of snacks, I personally think. And I see this a lot with women, is they will, not only are we cooking with oil still, like why are we even cooking with oil, but we are also snacking, right? We're snacking a lot. Now, why you snack is a different piece of the puzzle. What you're snacking on could also help you. So we can get tripped up on calorie dense snacks because this is how they're packaged. Snacks are often packaged as a snack or as a healthy alternative, when in reality you can have a snack pack of dried fruits for the same amount of calories as you could an entire extra meal. This is the same principles that I see people, like you could have 2 salads, but one of them you might as well have had 2 freaking Burger Kings for the same calories and felt more satisfied from the burgers than you did from the salad, right? So this is where we have to really be mindful about calorie density and how it plays in our day-to-day. But what are you snacking on? Because dried fruits and nuts, they are going to be killing your weight loss goals, right? They are absolutely going to be shitting all over them. Having loads of nuts and avocado in your salads, that is going to be, that's going to make your weight loss very difficult. Other snacks that we might have, chocolate bars, protein bars, all of these things, again, they're low calorie, low volume, but high calorie foods. So women will often get really stuck in trying to find the low calorie snacks or snacks that are going to help them assist with maximum weight loss results. Okay, so I just opened my screen again and I realized that this was a perfect example of what 400 calories can look like in your stomach. It can look like a drizzle of oil with your breakfast in the morning, or it can look like an entire plate of snacks, okay? So what I was going to say is what those snacks could look like. So I have created a PDF of all of my low calorie snacks, and I've listed the calories on them as well, an approximate, but that's just to give you an idea of how much you can actually eat, okay? So I don't count calories. I only add the calories on there for you, for your entertainment, but there is, I'll show you this booklet, this PDF that you can download. There are some caveats and information in this PDF, but here, I've got the whole list of it for you there. Now, most women know what they need to do, okay? Calorie density is not a new concept. It's old science. But if you didn't know about calorie density before today, I really do hope that you learned something new and helpful. If this wasn't brand new to you, I want you to just take a moment to ask yourself a really big question. If it's not more information I need, what do I need, right? Now, 99% of the time, it's more accountability, a better schedule, more support, a break in life. That never freaking happens. It's never about information, because you have a billion recipes on the end of your fingertips. If you're watching this or listening to this, that means you have internet. You know that Google is a whole bank of recipes. AI can send you a whole bank of recipes, right? You do not lack information or resources. That is not the problem why you can't lose weight. The problem is because you're missing pieces of the puzzle. Those pieces could be that your body isn't supported. Your hormones aren't online and you have no idea how much to eat or what to eat to satisfy you, right? And you feel like you could keep eating and eating. Maybe you just can't work out while you're all good all day and blow it in the evenings, or good all week and blow it on the weekends, right? Maybe you struggle with boundaries or attending to your emotional needs without using food, right? Maybe you use food as a boredom, to escape, to feel better about yourself, right? Maybe you feel that void that you lack. There's a void or a lack of purpose or drive in your life or love in your life, and you use food, right? So knowing the plate is one piece, but when you work on your plate, when you work with your body and with your mind, that's when things start to get easier. That's when things stick. That's when you stop yo-yo dieting. So if you want my snack cheat sheet, just drop the word snack below. If you're looking to find those missing pieces, my coaching programs could offer that solution to you. So if you want to find out what your missing pieces are, just message me the word T and we can see if it's the right fit for you. Information doesn't create change, but blending food with habits, emotional work, identity work can. I'll see you in the next one.